The same reasons, ladies and gentlemen, they refused to change. So, we need to think about what we're going to do and what we're going to implement today. The second sin, greed. Thinking about your profits without regard to ethics, to people, or the environment. If you want to understand where e-commerce and e-marketing is going and why it's different from regular business, this is the right time and the right space and the right place to start considering your role in terms of your business ethics, the way you deal with people, and the way you deal with the environment. The biggest buzzwords right now in business around the planet are related to how you deal with your ethical side of your business, how you deal with real human beings, and how responsible you are towards your environment. You must talk about these three things when you implement your e-marketing and your e-commerce operations. It might be difficult to do that when your business is coming in from a difficult environment, from a difficult economy, and you're thinking about where you are and making more money. But these are triggers right now that we can learn that people are really responding to very, very warmly indeed. So it's a good reason to change, not only because of the economic times, but also a good reason to change the nature of what it is you speak about. The ethics of dealing responsibly. The importance of recognizing one-on-one communication with people and your role within the environment. If you look after those things, you will avoid that second deadly sin. Number 3, gluttony. Looking to reduce every possible cost that you can right now because times are tough. We cannot afford to do this, ladies and gentlemen. Most businesses right now are taking axes, chainsaws, cutting off what they can, letting people go, cutting back on resources, cutting back on their advertising, cutting back on their marketing. It is the wrong time to be doing that right now. You need to be growing, not cutting back. But here's a good opportunity for you, because when you look to grow in these difficult times, now it's important to realize what you spent your money on previously. You all know how expensive media is. You all know how expensive it is to be on television, on radio stations, on billboards. You know that your e-marketing budgets can cost you a fraction of what you did with your budgets in the previous century. If you apply your thoughts judiciously, you're not going to cut for the sake of cutting now. Now you're going to start realizing that you can apply budgets in new and different directions. The worst thing that you could do right now would be cut off what you've been spending, even if it's been traditional advertising, traditional marketing, and doing none of the new e-commerce and e-marketing things. When Anders, some of you told me over coffee this morning and yesterday, that you want today the real hands-on stuff of what to do. That's what you're going to get today. That's what Anders is going to talk about straight after me, and everybody else as well. But listen to what it is that these experts come and tell you. You've got to start spending money wisely. You don't have to take your entire advertising budget now and shove it into an e-commerce or an e-marketing budget. But you should be spending maybe 15 to 20% of what you spent on traditional media in these new areas as a rule or a guide for a new beginning. Take 15 to 20% of your old budget, don't chop it, plant it in these new areas and in these new cities. I don't want you to take 100%. I don't want you to take 50%. I just want you to start thinking about how you do this responsibly. Next year, you'll take another 15%. The year after, you'll take another 15%. And soon, by 2016, you won't be spending money on traditional media anymore because nobody wants it. You'll be talking directly to the right people in the right space and in the right time. I heard from somebody else this morning saying, we feel we're a little bit left behind here in Lebanon or in the Middle East. We're not sure that we're up to speed. We're not as quick as other countries who are doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, I spoke in 20 countries around the world last year. Wherever I went, people said to me, we're a little bit behind. We're not sure what to do. You are at the same place, on the same page as many, many countries around the world. Don't be frightened of doing this. Don't fear the thought of falling behind and losing your way. You are at the cutting edge now. Our new world is just unfolding. You are pioneers. You're growing this new market. You need to do so responsibly without fear of falling behind. Sin number 4. Mediocrity. Allowing boring performances to go unchallenged. Allowing subpar marketing to continue. We've all wasted a lot of money on our marketing in the past. It was over 100 years ago now when Lord Lever in Europe said, I know that 50% of my advertising budget is wasted. I just don't know which 50%. That's been true for 100 years, ladies and gentlemen. When you spend money now in e-commerce, there's a major difference between putting your money into marketing electronically and marketing through the web as opposed to marketing through your television sets. What's the difference? You can measure this stuff. You can actually work out what returns you're getting because the information that comes back to you also comes back in the form of statistics. When you're dealing with your suppliers, demand measurement from them. This is not something where you just open the door and throw through hundreds of thousands of pounds or dollars. This is where you say, let me spend this money, but as I spend it with you, please tell me what I can expect back. And you do that before you pay anybody. When it comes to things like search engine optimization, I see companies all over the world trying to sell corporate customers SEO things. How would you judge whether somebody was a good search engine optimizer or not? Google them. If their business gets ranked number 1, they're a good company. If they don't appear on your first page of Google, I wouldn't be spending money with that provider either. Make sure you measure everything, including the people who want to sell you the services. How good are they? Because they might have good talk, they might be able to stand up and say, go and spend your money on these things and I promise you returns. I don't want promises in the e-marketing fraternity. I want guarantees and performance things that I can measure. And you are the customer. And I spoke yesterday saying the customer is all-powerful. That's you. You are now all-powerful. Thank you. Don't worry about me sweating. Luciano Pavarotti sweated a lot as well. I just love this stuff, guys. I'm fine. If I fall over and start clutching my heart, that's not part of the act. But sweating too. Thank you. So, don't allow subpar marketing to affect your behavior. It's called the broken window syndrome, and we've all been guilty of it. There's a broken window, a crack in the window, and we don't fix it. Our logo, perhaps, hasn't been spelt the same, or hasn't been used in the same colors as somebody else's business card versus my business card. We let it go. Not in this world. Not in this world that's very, very precise from an e-marketing perspective. You need to make sure that you're looking at everything. Fix the broken windows before they become major problems. You know, the former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani, cleaned up an entire city. New York used to be the crime capital of